Face front, true believers. Welcome to issue 125, I believe, of the Pitch Nerds. I think so, yeah.
Yep, 125.
Yes, we are the weekly show where nerds assemble to bring you the latest nerdy news and talk about nerdy shit. I'm Cap, and joining me today, as always, is best friend, fellow nerd, and Black Dolphin escapee, Mr. Frosty. Mr. Frosty, how are you doing? Nice to see you have made it back home safely, sir.
Yeah, just the Black Dolphin thing. All I could think of was that bit in Family. I'm not going to repeat it because I don't think it's allowed anymore. There's a bit in Family Guy where they're like the screaming black dolphins or whatever. Remember that?
Well, that took a turn. Anyways, my goodness, well, we have some good stuff to talk about today. We have. Are we doing some pitches today? Are we doing our?
Yeah.
I'm down for some pitches.
Ready.
I'm ready for some pitches. I suppose Frosty and I will be, because at the Pitch Nerds we pitch things, original ideas of existing franchises and whatnot. But today we're doing something different. We are doing original story. Actually, no, we've done original stories before, but we're. Yeah.
This is specifically. We had two rules. It was original superhero universe, and then because you pitched. I pitched Vincent before, and you pitched your universe before, so we were trying to shy away from those. And
right. So I'm looking forward to that. God, my fourth and fifth grade self, like I had to tap into that. My goodness, we had the drop of X-Men 97, and I want to I squealed at the top of my lungs while fellow nerd Dan sat next to me on the couch. He said, "My God, it's like it's Saturday morning all over again." Because he doesn't react too much, but my God, it's so cool. Can't wait to talk about that. We had some trailers drop. I think there's
Invincible episode 6.
Oh yes, Invincible. Yes.
You haven't talked. You were late on Invincible episode 5 too. So
yeah. So we get to talk Invincible.
We had two trailers: Beetlejuice and Penguin. Was there another one? I don't know.
Yeah, Beetlejuice, The Acolyte. My goodness.
Now we said it 3 times. Great. Oh, The Acolyte. Yeah, I forgot about The Acolyte.
Me too. Anyways,
remember that on Community where they were like on the third
walk by
or whatever,
and
then you walked by in the background.
We have a lot to cram into a little amount of time. Let's just jump into it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
First things first. Technically a rant, but I'm gonna die on this. Why? There's no hill to die on. It's just factual.
Okay.
Discworld is better than Harry Potter. Okay, enough said. Moving on. It's like by 1,000 miles. Like it's so much better.
Okay.
I mean, even their wizarding school is more interesting. Let me just tell you about the wizarding school over in the Discworld.
Okay.
Just real fast.
Okay.
So there's a school, and all the teachers and all the students have a class in room 101. But nobody ever actually goes. Mm-hmm. But because nobody went, there's no one to say that they didn't go. So but they all pretend like they do. Oh, I gotta go teach in room 101, and like at 4:00. But it never actually happens. And the theory behind the school is that if you put enough students near enough books, something passes from one to the other.
Okay.
Yeah, and also they're librarians and orangutan. Okay. How is that not better already?
Okay, let's dissect this. So in Harry Potter, my God, so for starters, it's weird how ignorant they truly are of like the Muggle world. That always confused me.
No, I mean I've said this the entire. I've read one of the books, but I watched all the movies.
Right.
I read. I think it was Goblet of Fire. The whole time I'm just thinking like. You know, it'd be really, really useful. A gun. Accio gun. No more Voldemort.
Written and directed by Ryan Johnson.
The Discworld's awesome though. If you haven't had a chance, Terry Pratchett wrote it. He passed away. I think there's 42 books.
So one thing that's always confused me about the Harry Potter universe is their architecture. Everything is designed like Toontown. You know it's not structurally stable. Do they have an OSHA department? Do they have like a...
Is it constructed like... I don't know what you're talking about. I just
no, in Harry Potter...
That's a building. My grandmother actually lived right near there.
No.
You go like walk to it.
No, but if you look at their towns, like a lot of their even like some of their houses and cottages, they're just built weird. That just... Everything is kind of...
It looked like England to me.
Like... Oh, no. I know the England part, but when you get away from that and get into, like, the magic world, everything is... Yeah. No, England is England. That's fine.
No, but I meant that. I meant, like, there's some parts of England, like some of the houses and stuff, because what happens is the wood warps.
Yeah.
And so the houses shift and move, and they have that kind of look to it. Oh. You might be talking about something I'm not familiar with. But okay, here's another example of why the Discworld is better. Okay, there was the faculty at the school, and that's only a small part of it, by the way. The faculty is just like the school is tiny. There's all sorts of things going on in that world, but the faculty. So one of the rules is if you're a wizard, Death himself has to come collect your soul. And so anytime a wizard's going to die, they also know when they're going to die. So anytime a wizard's going to die, they throw a big party, and all the wizards get together, and they kind of hang out because they know Death's going to show up. Anyway, so the one wizard is about to die. He's waiting, and he dies, and he's kind of sitting there, and he's like and he's like, why is Death not here? What's going on? He doesn't know this, but Death lost his job.
Oh.
And so yeah, he got fired. So what he's like, so the wizard's like, he starts thinking about it, and he explains it. He's able to get back into his body. He explains it like kind of like you can break into your own house easier than you could someone else's, because you know where the weaknesses are and stuff. And then he's trying to like bring his body back online, and he's like, what does a spleen even do? You know? Anyway, so the wizards are all hanging out waiting for Death to show up, and then all of a sudden he busts through like the door, Kool-Aid Man style. He goes, "I think I can process alcohol," and but later he gets depressed, so he tries to kill himself. So he jumps into the river, the Ankh-Morpork River, and it's this disgusting. It's supposed to be like the River Thames. Jumps in. A guardsman watches it happen, and he's like, "Yeah, that guy just died."
Gross.
And
death of dysentery.
But again, yeah, and it's also like mostly like you would just sink, you know, you wouldn't be able to like swim out. It's all like disgusting garbage water, so you get pulled in. But anyway, so but he doesn't die. He just walks out because he's undead. And so the wizards, they start trying to they're like, we need to put you to rest. So they try and give him they try and put a stake through his heart, but they didn't have a stake. So they use celery, and then they go, aha, because they thought steak, but he ate the steak or something. So he goes, aha, with celery, and then he goes, thank you. And then but anyway, so one of the ways you do with undead is you bury him at the crossroads. So all the traffic is like being pushed back because these wizards are sitting there like digging up the main crossroad of Ankh-Morpork, which is like their biggest city. And so a guard walks up and he's like, "What's going on here?" And then he's like, "Oh, we're burying him." And he like waves from the coffin, and then he goes, "He's not dead yet." And then the guy's like, and the guy's like, "Well, actually, it's not uncommon for dead people to move around and make noises after they've died." And then the guy in the coffin goes, Yeah, I heard that's true. And then the guard's like, well, I did see him fall in the river. He has to be dead. He's like, all right, then. It's the best book series ever. It's the kind of thing that you're laughing your ass off, and like people like staring at you because you're reading a book.
Right.
But yeah, excellent. The whole, I think I've told you about it. The world is a giant sea turtle.
Yeah.
With 2 elephants on the back.
Yeah.
And then on top of them is the disc.
It's like a Hindu culture. That's
what, I've heard, but then it's also got a little sun and moon that go around it, and I don't know. It's a really, and also the great, I think his name is the Great Altun. He's the turtle. They're the only species in the universe that already knows where they need to go all the time and what they need to do.
Mm.
It's pretty interesting.
That's cool.
Anyway, on the news. But if anyone wants to have that discussion with me as to why Discworld is better, contact me on Twitter at NerdsPitch. I will be happy to. So someone was talking about, they're like, well, which book do I start with? And I'm like, the first one. They're like, that's really hard to do with Discworld. So I posted it, and it said, the first Discworld novel. I was like, yeah, it took me a while to crack that one too, buddy.
Sorry, the writing's down. Anyways, we should jump into nerdy news.
I know. That was a huge tangent. But trust me, there's other Discworld nerds out there that are like, he's talking about love. Anyway, you should read one of them sometime. They're good books.
All right.
I'll keep talking about it.
All right, come on. I want to get to our pitches. Damn it, we got. I know. Pitch.
Let's just spend the whole time talking about the Discworld. Come on. Anyway, I'm gonna butcher. I always butcher guys' names, but
call him Billy.
Is it F? How do you say Fede?
Fede.
Yeah.
Feed. I would think.
Okay, Feed Alvarez.
Yeah.
I'm guessing he's the director, the creator of the upcoming Alien Romulus movie.
Yeah, Feed Alvarez. Yeah, that's the name.
Okay, he says pretty much every creature and set in Alien Romulus is
real. Yes.
I have this obsession with no green screens.
Yes.
So that sounds pretty awesome to me. I'm actually a favor of when they use both, but I'm cool with that.
Each is a tool, right? You use the tool for the right job. I mean, and certain jobs require more than one tool.
Oh man, I got really disappointed watching the trailer for Furiosa.
Yeah,
it was like they did that. They used mostly practical with
and the first one,
CGI, and it was amazing. And then this one is just a CGI fest.
Fast and Furious is kind of becoming like. But anyways,
Fast and Furious I kind of forgive because it's just so stupid over the top.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. As I said, my theory in that series is they're all gods.
Mm-hmm. It's like a Hancock. They're Hancocks.
They can make their power is they can make a car do anything as long as it looks cool. That's why they're flying down the road backwards.
You're right.
And then they can shift into a second reverse gear.
Right.
That's impressive.
While wearing tank tops. No, but the trailer dropped. What did you think? Because I love this trailer.
The trailer for Romulus dropped?
Yeah, so it dropped, and all right, look. So this feels like a mix of both Alien and Aliens, but probably more so Alien because they don't feel like soldiers; they're just people. So
I'm actually gonna keep talking, but I'm gonna do. I forgot.
Do anyways, the trailer is so good, and if you haven't seen it yet, watch it. I'm surprised you didn't see it yet, Frosty. It's just it feels gross. Like when you watch it, you'll know what part I'm talking about. It's just it gave me the shivers a little bit because it starts off. I see the corridors of a ship, and then the power cuts, and you start hearing the banging and banging and banging. Then the camera pans around, and then you start hearing the human characters like, oh my god, what are we going to do? So it's kind of panning in on them as they're trying to figure out, oh my god, how the hell are we going to get out of here? It does a great job at building suspense. It feels like xenomorphs attacking. It's absolutely shut up and take my money. And when I heard that they were using mostly practical effects, that's phenomenal. I mean,
I agree, especially with Alien.
Right,
Alien is kind of the best looking one.
Like,
you know what I mean, that was like all just practical.
So the Alien Queen is probably one of the. I would say the Alien Queen and the T-Rex are probably the two best creature, like big creature things ever created for cinema. They're just. The Alien Queen, that was before CGI, and here's this giant mechanical thing. It just. And granted, I've seen the movie a million times, so I can see like where the cross beams and everything are on the puppet, but still. Yeah, but still, you
Well, I think
forgive
the
it because
first time you see the power loader, you're like, that thing looks super cool.
right,
And then I've tried to show it to someone that didn't know what a power loader was,
right.
and they're just kind of watching it like, eh. And it's like, no, you don't understand. Like when you shut up.
Right. Get away from her, you bitch. Ah.
Yeah.
It's so good. Oh, it's so good. But anyway, so it captures it. It feels like you know the franchise. Prometheus. Watching those trailers, it didn't feel like an alien movie. It felt like it was just
Look,
digging.
Prometheus, though, like, it wasn't a good movie, no, but I still can't handle it, and that's why I like Alien, because even if it wasn't a great movie, it was still I was still like, no, 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 no,
Right, right.
you know, like that penis fucking snake comes out, and
Yeah.
I'm just like,
What are you
don't
doing?
touch, oh, what do you do? No, 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 and then like, you know, she's giving herself a fucking abortion using the
Yeah.
machine, and
Right.
it did its job where it needed to. So I kind of defend that movie. It's nowhere near as good as Aliens, and I
So
mean, I get
you
that.
know what it did that drove me nuts is it took the concept of space bug and added in this extra layer of universal, just like, oh, elder god crap that didn't really need to be there. Just it's a space bug. It's cool. I'd rather see the fucking predators come in and do that well for a change.
I get what you're saying. I just
Because we've talked about this before, where it's like, oh, you have to establish the this, and you know, I'm writing quantum, I have that, but you know, it's in a movie whose premise is man versus nature and man trying to weaponize nature. It's Jurassic Park. It'd be like taking the concept of Jurassic Park and adding in like the elder gods coming in because man's trying to tamper with nature. It's just it's gratuitous. It doesn't need to be there. Give
I
me
didn't look it like that, and the thing is, the engineer, like, he was so fucking cool that I just kind of forgave any flaws.
yeah.
I took it as like, I didn't take it as they were trying to. I don't know. I think
It's like
that was the whole
it's like they're
thing.
the Eternals, or like the Celestials of like the Xenomorph universe. It's like, just give me the
Sort
bug, just give me the
of.
space bugs.
But
Yeah,
they kind of it's just they created it, but they kind of fucked themselves over in the process. Is how I read that.
yeah, yeah.
And so it was like, oh, we're doing exactly what this hyper advanced race is doing, and we think we're gonna do any better than they did. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah. Yeah,
I don't know,
so,
but I get what you're saying, because like I see the same thing with Predator all the time. They try and make Predator more complex than race of aliens that like hunting.
right,
You know what I mean? Like that's all it needs to be.
right.
So I agree with what you're saying. I don't know. Everyone shits on Prometheus, and I agree it's not aliens, but I just still had a good time watching it.
Mm.
Um,
But anyways, practical effects. That thumbs up,
Yes,
8,000% thumbs up.
no, and I would love another good Alien movie, because really all there is Alien and Aliens.
Right.
They've never done another good movie. I mean, it's weird because you get these franchises that are just so cool, like Terminator and Alien.
Right. And
We
only
should
two
do
of the
Aliens.
movies have been good, and it's been
Why
30
haven't we,
years.
why haven't we done an Aliens pitch? That's like totally up our alley.
Let's do that next. Let's do an aliens pitch.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Fuck
Because
yeah.
like that one, because we've done all the major ones, Terminator, all that.
Yeah.
Shit. So okay,
I'd
we'll
like
do
to all
that
of our
then.
pitches. Yeah. Let's do an aliens pitch. Fuck yeah. All
Okay,
right.
okay. So that's what we were doing next. So that'll
Yeah.
be fun.
All right.
I forget what I was saying, but let's move on to the next bit.
Yeah.
Wes Ball says he wants his live action Legend of Zelda movie to fulfill people's greatest desires. It's got to feel like something real, something serious and cool, but fun and whimsical.
Well,
I mean, that does capture.
excuse me, princess.
No, I don't want that. Um, the question is like, because to me, Link is mostly mute.
Right.
But
That's-
I mean, I don't know how they're gonna pull
That's
it
a
off. But
hard.
his description of what he's well, they did it with Mario, because Mario in my head was that's why I struggled with the Mario pitch,
Yeah.
because I didn't know what voice to give him. But anyway,
Oh,
his
Seth
description
Rogen.
right here,
Seth Rogen is
something
Mario's true.
serious and cool, but fun and whimsical. That's Zelda.
Yeah.
So he gets it.
Yeah. I really
Um,
enjoyed my Zelda pitch. I enjoyed my Nintendo Cinematic Universe. And Nintendo, if you're watching, when you hit that dire strait, you come to me, and I will hand you. I will surrender my packet, and Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it. I can. Link is going to be.
I think video game, uh, like, because we had The Last of Us, that was good, and then we had Mario. So I think the curse has been broken. So hopefully it keeps going.
Yeah.
I've always been a big Zelda fan, so
Yeah. The God. So back in our day, there was the Super Mario Brother Power Hour, and you got the live action Super Mario, and they do the fun little clips, and then they play the cartoon, and it was
yeah, I hated it.
it was bad, but I loved it. But
No, the only thing I could, it was like no, 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 and then once a week we got Zelda.
yeah, right.
That was the only thing I
once
cared
a week, once a week on Fridays we got Zelda, and there were weeks where I didn't tune in on time, and I had to go another week before I saw Zelda. And
It's
it would
horrible though when you
oh
go
right
back and watch
no
it.
it's so bad.
Like now it's like back then it was awesome, but now it's just like, oh my god, I was into this.
Right, it's this is one of those things that hasn't aged well, but my
You know what I would compare it to? Okay, you ever like had? I'm gonna get in trouble for this.
No, you're not. I know where your brain is going.
You ever like you ever meet someone and you like them and you invite them over and then you're like begging them to stay the night,
right?
And you just you want that like you want to spend time with this person. It's amazing,
right?
You can't wait, and then afterwards you're just laying there like,
huh?
Can you leave? And then and you look at like, and so it's like Zelda.
Right.
Because
you have to look at the totality of it.
But no, back when I knew that's what I wanted. That was yes, I can't wait for that. But now this is the after point where I look back and I was like, oh, that's what I wanted. And see, the girl is that. Right. That was taken from a YouTube sketch. I just adapted it to Zelda just for the lulz. Put down your pitchforks. Like,
Frosty has gone the woke.
No, that's the opposite of the woke.
No, woke is ill-defined. You quit being woke, my friend.
I see. I took it the other
way. So you're anti-woke. Oh.
In that example, I would have been.
So here at the Pitch Nerds, Frosty has openly admitted to being anti-woke. Please leave all your comments down below.
We no longer have to discuss this. Thank you, Sydney Sweeney. But yes, Legend of Zelda. Can't wait. Sounds dope. The show was bad, but it was good at the time.
Right.
There was another. There was on Captain N. There was a Zelda episode.
Yeah. So Captain N was like
cool.
the weird sort of vestige of this. So you had, God, Nintendo was just a monster back in its heyday. It was just this juggernaut, and it was everywhere.
It still is. I mean, they're the only games that retain, like, because like you play a PlayStation,
right,
and the games drop down to like $4 at times,
right,
and then you put on your Switch, and you're like, huh, remember that Mario game that was a launch title,
right,
and then you pull it up on the little menu, and it's like $60, and you're like, how are you still $60? They don't drop.
No.
And their licenses are very specific to Nintendo.
Right.
Nobody else gets Zelda. Nobody else gets Mario.
Right. And what's great is that instead of purchasing the same game over and over and over again, because that's sort of Nintendo's thing, is Nintendo made their best games about 25 years ago, and they've been squeezing the teats of those franchises ever since.
Well, but you know what Nintendo does, though, that nobody else does? Yes, they're using the same properties, but they innovate.
Yeah,
like, they're the only ones who were like, hey, let's do motion control.
Yeah. Right.
And they try shit, and their stuff is, they make unique decisions with their...
They do.
There was a game that was like a little cardboard printer and shit.
Yeah, so the Angry Video Game Nerd went through all the... peripherals for Nintendo.
Oh, they sucked.
I mean, but you're right though. To their credit, they are innovators, and what works and what doesn't. But it's just I had purchased the same Star Fox game 3 times until I said, "Fuck it, I'm just going to buy the hard copy and play it on the original system and be done, set for life." Like I've sort of reached that point with Nintendo, where it's like I have everything that's great about Nintendo. I have, and it's
I
pure.
see what you're saying, but like it's like the recent Mario game was fantastic. A recent, but and I mean that's what I mean. Each one, because each one
They do bring
innovate,
something new. I will give Nintendo
it's
that.
interesting to play them.
Right.
I don't know if one's better than the others. I mean,
I'm not necessarily shitting on Nintendo right now. I'm just saying
No,
I know where I have sort of drawn the line with Nintendo, and I'm okay with that. Like,
well, you're very much you compared to me. You progress to a point, and you're like, I'm good. Whereas I keep going, you know what I mean? And I think that's the key difference between me. Your nostalgia and a certain like you'll be like, oh, the best games ever were this time. Where I'm like, Elden Ring was fucking dope. Like that's like the difference. But you would rather go back and play Star Fox.
Star Fox is phenomenal.
It was an amazing game.
Right, no, I know what you're saying. So right now, fellow nerd Dan and I are replaying Donkey Kong Country 2: Diddy's Conquest, which has probably one of the best soundtracks of any video game. Like Donkey Kong Country and Donkey Kong Country 2 have two of some of the best like game soundtracks. Period. And having done some research onto the composer, it's interesting how he was able to get those sounds to come out of the Super Nintendo. But
the game had a phenomenal score though. Baldur's Gate 3, holy fuck.
So what's cool now is with games you can get like orchestras, you can get full like symphonies in.
No, I know you can, but like they're writing music for D&D.
Right.
So like yeah, there's one of the songs called Balduran. So I can't remember, something Balduran. And it's about Baldur's Gate, right? And I mean, and it's this beautiful woman singing this like song. But what it makes it amazing is it's like maybe 2 minutes long, plus like, but it ties the very beginning of Baldur's Gate to where you're at now, brings you to the pinnacle of all of this hundreds and thousands of years of lore.
That's awesome.
And you're at the point, and it gets you pumped because you're like, it's like, hope is lost, but not, but
right.
And then it starts talking about your party, and it's like wizard, knave, devil, Gith, and you're like, that's us. And it's like the dice been rolled anew. And I don't know, like
that's awesome.
I was just
right. But
by the way,
so what's great with I'd like to have something like that in Quantum eventually. Like that's sort of the whole point of my project. So I hear what you're saying. I don't game like that anymore because I feel like I'm more of a creator now. So I've sort of stopped.
I feel like it's important to do both though, because it feeds your imagination.
No, I get it. No, there's plenty in the furnace.
No, I know, but it's like writers. Writers often talk about how they have to read because they need to be fed words.
Yeah.
Musicians, they tend to listen to a lot of music because they need.
It's there. Trust me. But
no, I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying that's at least for me. Like I draw like I've never seen anything that did that before with like that much lore across 3 games. By the way, Larian Studios, I'm kind of mad at you, but also not. Well, for multiple reasons. I'll talk about it later.
We should keep going because I want to give us at least a good 30 minutes for our pitches.
Yeah, okay. Happy Gilmore 2 is in works on Netflix. What?
No, so it's funny. So at work the other day, there was some. Every once in a while, depending on what sports is on, when the sports is over with, it'll cut over to The Price is Right, and it was a hole in one. And some guy, it's hole in 1 or 2, and this guy did really bad right off the gate. So he was at the farthest point, and he whacked that ball the first time, and it went so hard it ricocheted off the back, and it looked like it was going to come back into the hole, but stopped. And then, it's hole in 1 or 2. So he hit it again, and he hit it too soft, and it came maybe about like 2 inches from the hole. like perfect trajectory, perfectly aligned.
They're thinking to get in your
Yeah,
hole.
so my regulars and I were watching this, like, just get in your hole, that's your home.
Yeah, well, are you interested in Happy Gilmore too, or do you not care?
Yeah, does it? I mean, the first Happy Gilmore left us in such suspense, and with what's his face passed away now. Actually, two what's his face has passed away now. Like, what are we? What more are they going to?
I get what you're saying, but like the thing is, I've said this before to you, and then you're like, no, I needed this. And apparently the reason this is being made, at least is that what the creators are saying, is because there's like a big call for this. Like they've got lots of fans saying we want more Happy Gilmore. So if that's true, good for them.
Okay, well I want more Symbiotic Titan.
I know you do, and if you got it, good for you too. Right. Good for the Snyder people. They got their stuff. I'm always happy with people.
Right. Let them have cake.
As far as me, I don't care that much. I'll probably watch it.
I mean, I'll watch it, but with Adam Sandler's recent movies, I don't care.
Yeah, I know. I've kind of, although he, every once in a while, he pulls something out and you're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and like, it got like tons of Razzies and people hate the movie.
So, okay. Adam Sandler, it's like you have, everybody has their favorite Adam Sandler movie, and then one I would call like the guilty pleasure Adam Sandler movie, where you know it's bad, but it's a guilty pleasure. It just scratches that weird itch. Like
I don't know what my favorite is. I guess maybe Little Nicky. That movie I think was amazing.
I like 51st Dates because I'm just a cornball that way. 51st Anger Management. Oh wait, Jack Nicholson in that movie made me feel alive again.
That one's good too, but just Little Nicky, like from the set design to like kissing like this.
Yeah.
And then you find out it's because he got hit in the face with a shovel. I don't know. That's got like, it's got everything I want. And even Ozzy when he was on set, like fucking Ozzy being a weapon of God. Holy shit. And then him biting the head off the back. Right. But Ozzy when he was on set, he was just like, this is incredible. And he hired those guys to do his concerts because he was like, yeah, this is amazing.
That's fantastic.
And then like also, it was funny because like when they were doing Hell, they went with album covers for inspiration, but they were all talking about how Heaven was so much harder, and because they didn't want to do clouds and stuff.
Right.
I don't know. It's interesting. So they were like, "What if every day it's your birthday?" You know. But yeah, it's not for me, but I'll watch it. But good for the people that want it.
Yeah.
Kevin Bacon reveals he will return to the school where Footloose was filmed by attending the school's prom. Oh. Students have been campaigning at the school to get Bacon to visit. So again, another good for them.
Good for them. You know what?
Yeah, good on you, Kevin Bacon.
Right?
You know,
good on you.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he does a lot of this stuff. You know, he got like kidnapped and taken to nowhere.
Yeah. I mean,
it's good. No, I like
this renews faith in humanity. When we're judged by our alien overlords, I hope they look at moments like this and just be like, you know what?
My favorite was Ron Perlman. Apparently this like kid, Make-A-Wish kid, was to meet Hellboy, and usually when that happens, it's just someone dressed as Hellboy,
right?
But well, not even really. It's just a Hellboy, you know. But then Ron Perlman, full makeup and everything, went and sat and hung out.
He got up at like 2:00 in the morning to be in the makeup chair by 3 and was
but
there.
You see the picture of him hanging out, and I'm just like, A, that kid is so fucking metal for picking Hellboy,
right? And
B, that is so badass that Ron Perlman went and did it. You know, I don't know. You're right. It hits you in the feels, you know?
Right?
Anyway. It's the episode of Batman where he sits with the little girl Ace and he dies.
So my youngling the other week asked me to help her record this thing for a class project, an econ project for caffeinated gum. My youngling wrote the script. It was well done. It just happened during the strike, so give her some wiggle room. But she asked me to dress up in my most millennial attire, which is what I normally wear, I guess. I mean, I'm wearing a Soundwave tank top.
We're vintage millennials.
Right, we are finally age millennial. But she wanted me to run
I'm
around
like
like,
right on it, by the way.
yeah,
I'm
you are.
81,
Yeah,
so that like if I was 80, I would have been
Gen Z
Gen X.
or Gen X, yeah, Gen X.
I'd rather be them, but
Yeah, but she now, Frost, you know this, but for those watching, there's inside of me, there's an inner Chris Farley that I can just sort of activate whenever needed, and the youngling requested that, so my finally aged millennial body was throwing itself around like an idiot, for the sake of this project, and it was fun, but God, I hurt
when
myself.
you mentioned though, she wrote a script, and then I mentioned the Batman Ace Death thing.
Mm,
For some reason, in my head, she got really artsy about it, and like incorporated death and sadness and sorrow over a gum. Like maybe drew inspiration from that one. Like
right.
like Ace is sitting there, and she's like, "The flavor's gonna die, isn't it?"
Just a couple
But
more
not
chews.
with this gum.
No, with juicy fruit.
Yeah, something. I don't know.
Right.
But anyway, that's a damn juicy fruit. You can use that.
Right.
I mean, you're gonna have to get with DC, but Um, let's see. Oh, production on GTA 6 is reportedly falling behind, with a fall 2025 launch looking more feasible. Delaying the game to 2026 is on the table as an emergency option. So this is, I mean, the game fucking trailer looks so good,
Mm,
and every GTA I play is one of the best game instantly.
mm.
I understand why people are not happy about this, but
Because it's
I'm not.
woke. It's woke.
Or how is GTA woke?
I don't know.
Like,
Because there's a female in the trailer.
true. No, there's there's multiple characters, and this time there is a female character. But it's GTA, a game where you can go like, kill prostitutes and stuff. Drive down the. I showed my dad the game one time, and I was like, "Watch this!" And I pulled the gun, and it just mowed a sidewalk down to people as I did a drive-by. And he just looked at me like, "This is a horrible game," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, huh?" Like there's.
Hey, I still
You know
remember
what,
the 2D version where it was over the head and you can gun down people and get flamethrowers and shit. It was funny.
What's his name? Phoenix Press. He posted something, and it was like, video games cause violence, and it was like a meme where he's like, me resetting the game because I made one of my NPCs sad, and it's like, yeah, I do that.
I've done that.
Okay, OpenAI. This pisses me off.
Mm.
OpenAI has scheduled meetings with Hollywood studios and talent agencies to encourage filmmakers and studios to use AI in their work. Fuck you. They have already opened their AI video making software to big name actors and directors. No, don't do it. I know it's inevitable, but fight the power. The shitty thing is we're taking the thing that makes us the most human
And giving it to a machine.
and yeah, we're giving it to machines, and the machines are literally leeching it off of us
Yes.
to do it.
Right.
And that pisses me off. I'm fine with AI. Like, I mean, I guess even this is taking stuff away. Well, maybe, I don't know. Like, there are some cool things. Like, I would love to see AI NPCs.
Mm. Yeah.
But
I want those in Quantum. Like all this shit I want in Quantum.
But the idea of like, hey, this will make your movie for you, and hey, this will be your actor, and they're not good, like as good as it is. That's the one thing I think that won't ever cross over, is because AI is an amalgamation of shit.
Right.
It can look gorgeous and it can and everything, but it's creatively devoid. And I think anybody that's played with it for long enough, you're trying to tell it to do stuff, and it does it in a very generic way.
Yes.
And and you can feel it lacks the emotion, and I don't think it'll ever surpass that. So, I think it'll be a good facsimile of it.
So I use the DALL-E for Quantum, but I use it as a space filler. Like it's not intended to be like the actual thing. It's intended to just have a quick visual reference. And actually, I've been sketching a lot lately, so I've been going back to what the AI bot generated. And of course, it's never going to be exact, and that's the thing. It's not. It's close, but I would give it to somebody like you, and then describe what I'd want in further detail, and then you can take that and build upon. That's
The
kind of
frustrating thing though is I can't illustrate as well as AI. Mine's not gonna have third arms or shit,
well, right, right,
but it can.
right.
But it does it instantly, and it does it better than me.
Let's see.
And that's what
So see, that's where I disagree. I don't think it does it better than you in the sense where it's not exactly what. So here's an example. I came up with a doodad and I put it into an AI bot, and it came up with a kind of construct of what it kind of looked like in my head, but it wasn't close. So I took that and I took the parts that were close, and then I just drew in the rest, and I have a sketch pad.
No,
It's like, okay, well, this is what I want.
I guess, but where AI fails, because like I said, I think technically it is better than I will ever be, and I think a lot of artists are like that. Yeah, you're gonna get guys like Louis Royo, but the thing is though, it's gonna take like Louis Royo and all the Simon Bisley like talking fantasy art, and it'll be derivative of them.
Yes.
At no point will it ever have its own voice.
Correct.
And that's so the best that it'll ever be is derivative.
Correct.
And so but because that's flooding our creative space, we're gonna lose the creatives. It's like, how they talk about we're not creative, like in sci-fi shit, and like, we need the humans because they have creativity. That's exactly what's happening.
Right.
And it's frustrating. Yeah, well, so anyway, so this is interesting. But anyway, let us know also, where do you land on AI? I'm pretty much staunchly against. I played with it enough that I'm like impressed by it, though. So I don't know.
I am. It is inevitable. Inevitable. I see it as a tool, and I use it as now. I'm a writer. I don't use it for writing. I have my grammar check software that but I don't go into like an AI bot and be like, tell me about the Nord, and it comes up with like 40 different pages of crap. I never that's cheating. That's not how you do it.
Do.
I know people do, and that's a shame, and that is a shame. That's an over reliance on the tool.
But that's my point. Like, so you as an artist, your voice is now lost because the market gets flooded with other writers,
right?
And they're just AI,
right?
And that's the shame part. So we've lost a unique identity in what your work is.
So on that note, I believe, my goodness, it's I want to say it's like Kentucky, I believe, or Tennessee. There is a state that's looking to outlaw AI impersonators.
Yeah,
and I understand why.
I think the AI I don't think it should be allowed to take without paying the artist. That's my biggest issue.
Right.
You shouldn't be able to just say, "Here's the internet AI, learn."
Right.
No, if you want Louis Royo's design elements in your software, pay the man.
Right.
And it should be illegal for you to steal it.
That's right.
But anyway, the first ever Dragon Ball theme park will be opened in Riyadh, the capital of Saudi Arabia. I apologize if I didn't say it right. It's a word I've only ever seen written and never heard said out loud. But do you know how you say it? Capital of Saudi Arabia? Is it Riyadh?
I believe it's Riyadh. Riyadh. Yes.
Anyway, it'll have 30 plus attractions, including 5 state-of-the-art rides and 7 themed zones.
I love how I want to rephrase that. So I was going to say, I love how Saudi Arabia is just like waving its dick to the world. I heard that they're planning on terraforming a part of the desert to turn into a ski resort.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that? Like that.
Well, it's because some of those guys are like the wealthiest people. Like I've heard this. I don't know how much of this is true, but I've heard that people are like, "Oh, Bill Gates, not Bill Gates,
Bezos." It's Bezos right now.
Went down. It's Bezos, right? So they go, "Oh, Bezos is the richest man alive." No, it's actually those guys. Some of those guys are like trillionaires or
Right.
something. It's just that
It's
we
all
can't.
investment and whatnot. They have yeah, right.
Yeah, but
And resources, but yeah. So
that was what I originally wanted to do. I wish I pursued it more. I don't know. I don't know. But there are people in England that raise birds of prey,
mm,
and then you sell it to Saudi Arabians and stuff like that.
mm.
And that's what I wanted to do for a living. I went and got a certificate from British School of Falconry, but I don't know. And then I ended up moving to the United States, and then like it's impossible to do it over here. And but yeah,
Really?
uh, pretty
Mrs.
much.
Cap and I
Like
did a falconry thing one time.
yeah, but like to
It
do it
exists out here.
yourself, because in the United States, like in England, like there's more laws on it over here. What like owning, especially California,
Mm,
owning birds and doing all that, and you have to do tests. In
mm.
England, you just buy the thing,
Right.
and then when you want to go hunting,
Mm.
like you just go, you go up to a farmer, you knock on his door, and you go, "All right, mate," and he's like, "Yeah, what's it?" And you go, "Can I just kill some rabbits with my bird?" And he's like, yeah. And then you just walk around and kill rabbits. And then because he doesn't care. I mean, you're getting rid of rabbits.
Right. Okay.
And so like and then yeah, that's it. That's as complicated as it is. And then occasionally someone will like come up on you.
So
if they don't- if
did you
they
knock
well,
on people's doors and ask if you could take
I didn't
a
have to because I was with people that did.
Okay.
Um
You just take
but
doors
that's
out to the field and be like, "All right, doors, go get them." And
yeah, well, so but yeah, you just walk around, and then sometimes you use ferrets if you're with people,
mm,
but occasionally someone who works the land, like maybe not the person you talk to, they'll come up and ask you like what you're doing. But usually just say, "Oh, blah 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 gave us permission,"
mm.
and then sometimes you get a phone call. You just people are nice though.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot harder over here. But then also there's like space and everything. I don't know.
Mm.
It's a long story. If you want to know more about falconry or hawking, talk to me on Twitter.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, so Dragon Ball though, that sounds cool. Yeah, I'll never go because it's in Saudi Arabia, but I mean, I would like to go.
Right. They also have the NASCAR theme park. I think the fastest roller coaster on the world is there, and it tops out like 120 some
That's
miles an
cool.
hour. Yeah, I actually have a former friend who actually grew up in Saudi Arabia, and boy, did she have some stories. Again, one of those
No,
places where
but
I don't feel like I'd ever want to visit there. No matter, I mean, I don't know how to respond to that. I don't know.
no, I mean, I don't know it like at all, but like I would like to go to this Dragon Ball theme park.
Right. Maybe if they
But
just had
anyway,
like a direct flight to the theme park instead
I
of
don't know. I don't know anything about the surrounding area. I
Right.
know
desert.
the person in my family used to uh, represent a company for that part of the world,
Mm.
and so he spent a lot of time over there. So I probably talked to him. But anyway, Warner Brothers plans to expand their production of anime to more than 10 series per year. I guess people are digging their anime stuff. I can't say I care. I know a lot of people are excited for the what's it called, the Suicide Squad isekai.
Yeah.
And then people are talking about the X-Men anime. I don't.
Yeah.
Tell me if it's awesome.
Right.
Maybe I'll give it a shot. Actually, that's a good thing. If we should be watching any of this, let us know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we did watch One Piece.
Watch.
We do take y'all's suggestions. We did watch One Piece
Yeah,
and
yeah.
thoroughly
We
enjoyed it.
watched
So.
One Piece. Well, you have yet to watch it, but I watched Avatar. Or did you watch it?
I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, you should. That we were told to as
I
well.
know. I will get to it.
Okay. But yeah, that seems like a lot of anime though. 10 series per year. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
I guess how well is I don't know how well
carpal tunnel hands with the animators, or is the AI bot going to be just spitting
well,
out
I
things?
mean, there's probably enough anime studios out there. That's like a huge thing. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it just seems like a lot. 10 per series per year. I don't know how well their anime department's doing. Is this like a huge thing at the moment? Let me know. I'd be interested.
Unrelated, but I just came up with the premise for my alien concept. Loose there. Okay.
There's a Spider-Verse short film,
Mm-hmm.
The Spider Within, which is going to be released on March 27th on YouTube. The story follows Miles as he experiences a panic attack that forces him to confront the manifestations of his anxiety. Not really sure why. I'll give it a shot. That storyline, though, I'm like, well, the manifest, can he just punch like lizard or somebody? You know?
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, am I wrong in saying that?
No.
Like,
But you're wrong for thinking it.
where's Tombstone? You know, like, let that be the manifestations of his anxiety. I don't know, but then again, you know what? Spider-Verse knocks it out of the park every time. So
yeah,
fucking
Spider-Verse
I don't
has keep doing Spider-Verse things. Everything else, Anyways,
this is last bit of news. This is a bummer, but I respect it.
mm-hmm.
Larian Studios said it will not develop any DLC expansions for Baldur's Gate 3, as well, and it also will not do a Baldur's Gate 4.
Are you
so it's weird because Baldur's Gate 3 was Game of the Year. It's massively successful. Everybody's playing this game.
You know what? I'll say this to you, Frosty. They're saying this now, but somewhere in the distance, EA is looming, and EA is going to catch that scent in the air, and they're going to come descending on the studio and acquire it, and it'll become them, and then we will get Baldur's Gate 4 EA.
Maybe. I don't know, but I don't know about that. I don't know what their ability to absorb them is. I don't know any of that. But the reason I think the reason I admire this on the studio is because they knocked it out of the park,
and they know when to walk away graciously.
And they know when to walk away. Yeah, and they're like, and then it's like, well, what else are you guys gonna do? They're like, well, and they mentioned a couple other projects that they're working on, and they want to work on those.
Good,
and I respect that. That's fine. You nailed Baldur's Gate, pass it on to someone else. At the same time, fuck you. I want more Baldur's Gate, and I would fucking love a Baldur's Gate.
That's okay. EA is going to come and give you a Baldur's Gate 4, and it's going to be pay to play, and it's going to be glorious.
I hope, God to God, never, because that series is flawless. And seriously, I mean, you haven't played it.
No,
I
actually did play the first Baldur's Gate. It's been a million years, but it was
I've played the first one several times, but I mean, it is one of the best game series out there if you like RPGs, and this new one just is incredible. I've talked about it a lot. This is where I was like, I'm kind of a little pissed at them. Besides that, is also they just released a big update, and I'm at the end of the game already, with 2 characters, right? And like I've beaten it with one, and I'm playing towards the end with the other. And then I was just like thinking about it. I was like, yeah, maybe I'll just build an archer really fast. Cause I have some characters that are like lower level, and I find you can just swap them. So I just loaded one up, switched her to an archer, and then I was just fucking around with her. They've added a lot of shit.
Oh.
So now I got to play the whole game again.
Oh, no!
Steal, like I first noticed it because there's a girl, and you talk to her, and she's like sucking at playing the music, and then there's squirrels. They're like, no, and they're like, make it stop, and you talk to them, and then you tell her, and you're like, yeah, the squirrels weren't very happy, and she was like, I thought they were cheering me on. And then, but she finally gets it, and then that whole scene of her playing the harp, beautiful song, but the lute, but it keeps going. And they've added so much more to it.
Wow.
And then I noticed, and then I went and saved a kid, and I've saved that kid like 3 times already. That got expanded, and so now I'm like, I have to play the whole game again. I guess that's a good thing.
You come to peace with it.
All right. So that's all I got. Anything you guys?
No, we should get full speed ahead with everything because we have a lot to muscle through.
Okay. Do you want to do reviews or battle nerds?
Let's do reviews. Because my God, I want to talk about it in person. I'm going to talk about it in person, Frosty. Come on.
I think we should just plan right now to push our pitches to next week because we're running late already.
I mean, we could push Battle Nerds back.
I like Battle Nerds though because it's
right.
consistent every week, you know.
All right. So
Like,
want to push the pitches, but we should just designate.
Well, I tell you, let's plan on only one of. I don't know. Well, let's see what we'll go.
All right.
X-Men 97 episodes 1 and 2 dropped.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it before you, and I was just like, check it out.
Right.
And then you finally watched it. It's stellar. It's good. It's Marvel's only project that has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, everybody. I watched a few reviews on this, and then you said it. I said it. Everybody that sits down to watch it, it's like, I hope this is good. And then it's and then it's over. It's like they just went like, take that nostalgia, and then you're like, oh, right, nostalgia, and then like, and then it's perfect. And people, I'm sorry, those of you that are bitching about the animation, you do not know what you're talking about. They perfectly married
mimics
modern
the animation,
with the '90s style.
Yes.
If you go back and watch the original cartoon, you didn't have Cyclops getting ripped out of a jet, going like cutting off arms. And,
right. It was very rudimentary-ish. It
looked better individually on the characters, but this is much grander. And people are like, oh, they're moving like stick figure or whatever. No, they're both 12 frames per second.
Right.
They married the 90s style with if you don't like this style, fair enough. But it is just a style choice.
Right. Well, it's something like Samurai Jack, where you either like the style or you don't. If you don't like the style, you're not going to like the show. But
it's so good though. It's Cyclops like
oh my god,
moving around and stuff,
and then god, all right, Storm
coming in,
and I am just. I've always loved Storm and Cyclops. Just both of them are cool and because both of them are the leaders. And they both respect each other, but they both have drastically different powers. But they both respect each other. I love the relationship. But Storm, when she shows up, and it's like they've always why I've liked her is they've always made her feel like a force of nature. Like, yo, she's
but she's super felt like it.
Right. She's on Omega. Like she oh my god, Omega threat detected. Like. Cyclops came in and he tried to do a Cyclops thing like, hey, I was like, no. It's like, okay, you asked for it. All right, Storm, bring it in. Omega level threat detected. Here comes Storm. I was like, I am the elements of. And she just. It
was cool because I liked what she used lightning to turn the sand into glass, and then she used a huge tornado and she made a tornado of glass.
And then Cyclops, Cyclops, when he's like, all right, I'll see you guys on the bottom. It's like, what the fuck's he doing? He doesn't have a parachute? What's he doing?
He did that in the show, though. He did it in the original show.
But it looked cooler in this one.
It looked cooler in this. But he did do it. And because I keep seeing this comment. They're like, oh, finally, they're not treating it like it's a heat beam. I'm like, did you watch the original cartoon? It was pretty obvious it was concussive force.
Right.
They're using it more now and better.
Right.
But it was always there.
No, didn't they always call it a concussive force in the first one?
I don't know if they named it outright, but it was clear because he would shoot people.
Yeah.
Most their shirt would rip and they get knocked back.
Yeah.
And so it was like, oh, it's like getting punched.
Right. Oh, sweetie, try some of the Kringle. Sorry. And also dump your trash, please. All the trash cans.
The what I'm enjoying about this though is all the stuff. Because it's like you immediately know who knows the comics and who doesn't. Like, I can't believe they got rid of Storm's powers, and you're like,
wait a minute.
And then like, what was it?
Rogue and Magneto.
Yeah, Rogue and Magneto. That was the other one. Like, and it was like,
weren't they together in Age of Apocalypse also?
Yeah, Age of Apocalypse. Well, okay, so in the main universe. They were stuck in the Savage Land for a while.
Yeah.
And they kind of hinted at a relationship.
Yeah.
And they've hinted a couple of times since then. But in Age of Apocalypse, I think it was Age of Apocalypse.
I think it was Age of Apocalypse.
She marries Magneto and they have a child named Charles.
Yeah.
And then, the other one was the two Jeans. Because I saw someone like talking about like, Oh, it was actually Super Killers. He was talking about because he doesn't like the Wolverine Jean relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "Well, you have to because that was always there,
Right.
and so if they just got rid of it, it wouldn't make sense."
Right.
And then the other, and then he was like, and then it was like, and she's pregnant, which is messed up. And I was like,
That's
not
Wolverine.
actually Jean, like, because they tell you who the child is.
Yeah,
they're like, oh, we'll name it Nathan. And then
Nathan
immediately
Summers.
you're like, okay, well, that's not Jean.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like...
Wait, so really, really quick, because it's been a million years. So what happened after Phoenix in the show? Because she died, didn't she? And then she was resurrected or something?
No, okay. The reason there's two Jeans... Spoilers, by the way. Mute us for... I'll do this when I'm done talking if you don't want to know.
No, you go. You do you. Oh,
no,
hold on.
For people watching.
Oh, hold on. Ziggy GH says, "What are you guys discussing here? I'm new. We are talking about X-Men '97 right now. Yeah.
So spoilers, Ziggy. So the reason that
we also have Ola says hello.
Oh, hello.
And I'm seeing a spike in YouTube viewership.
Awesome. But anyway, so the reason there's two Jeans. The one Jean that's pregnant, so she was created by Mr. Sinister.
Okay.
So Mr. Sinister made her, implanted her with the memories of Jean. I forget what her real name is. And then after Phoenix, the events of Phoenix,
right?
And then so she hooks up with Scott, and that the reason he did that was to create Cable,
right?
And then so that way he could fight Apocalypse. Anyway. But the Jean that's at the door, that's the real Jean, because she wakes up and searches for them and she shows up. So that's why it's funny. And then the other thing that I kept seeing was people talking about Gambit's shirt. Everybody was like, "Oh, this is about his sexuality."
No, that's his style, yo.
It was the '90s. Like I mean, like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was walking around with crop tops.
Right. No, it was nice to see them in their casual wear. It's nice. I was like seeing them out of their superhero attire, because you don't really see that in superhero shows, because they live in this mansion. It's their home. So to see them just in their everydays, it's kind of nice.
They did play basketball in the old school cartoon.
Right. I know. We've seen them in their normal everyday attire, and I like that. We get to see them like that, where, they don't always have to wear the yellow jumpsuit. Anyways, I cannot get enough of this show. So, this show, God, it's so good. It's so good. They've hinted at Mr. Sinister in the credits, but we haven't seen Mr. I'd like to see Mr. Sinister.
They're gonna. There's a lot there they were setting.
Right. I feel like.
Oh, and then I just gotta say, how cool were those Mega Man blasters?
All right.
Oh my God, Mega Man blasters!
God, when they had Cyclops and they take off his goggles, his visor, and he's like, "No, don't do it." And then you just see the.
Well, in the '90s, that was what we said.
Nah, this is perfect.
Anyway, so shut up and take my money for you.
It is 8,000,000% shut up and take my money.
It's that, and the next thing we'll talk about is my favorite thing on TV at the moment. So Invincible episode 6 dropped. Cap also watched 5.
I'm caught up. I am caught up.
So what did you think?
I want more. More. So these are.
It's sad we only got 2 more episodes.
So I've never read the comic. So this is a small nitpick, and I'm not saying this is no disrespect to the show. It's just the artist. You know how certain artists have their thing that they're just not good at doing? Kirkman cannot draw babies. His babies look like he doesn't know how to draw babies. That's
well, it's not his art, though.
Right, but no, even in Walking Dead, homeboy, you can't draw babies. That's fine. Every artist has their thing. One can't draw feet, whatever. Just homeboy can't draw babies. But that is said, I fucking love this show. I love this show. I was thinking, no, they can't kill Rex. I like Rex. He's kind of a dick, but I like him. But the fact that he got up, he's like, he manages to like win the day. Oh, I loved it. And then,
yeah. What did you? Were you surprised by Duplicate?
yeah, my God. So, because I was never quite sure what her powers were. So as long as one survives and she can keep multiplying, right? That's her thing. But she retains the memories of all of them and feels all of them.
And then it's a curse. Like I'm trying to remember. Like, okay, it's all there, but it's the old lady sifting through files.
Right.
But like her power, she has a brother, and it was a curse because on like their father that like he would have too many kids or something, and then they multiplied because they both had the same power, and then like I think he lost his mind over it, something like that. I don't know. But yeah, so it's hard because I know everything. But yeah, and then we also got to see the books.
Yes.
With Space Racer and
I like so. Every time I've said this a million times. Every time I think I have something creative in quantum, somebody comes along and says, "Oh, I did it first." It's like fuck. So there are a couple things in this episode that I do have in my universe, but it's fine. Different, but it's fine. So from what I'm gathering, essentially, Omni-Man is regaling his adventures, but he's also secretly telling how to defeat the Viltrumites.
Yeah, so
I
he
guess
wrote down ways to things. I mean, they say it, tell you in the show.
Yeah.
It's things that hurt Viltrumites.
Right.
And
so yeah, Ragnar
is the guy.
Right.
And then he looks just like that.
Right.
And so yeah, they're doing that. So and then we also find out Omni-Man, they won't kill him because he's being they hold them until they're healthy enough to stand trial.
Right.
And so there's some time there. And then the other thing, I'm trying to think what else they set up. Oh, we see the guy that got messed up by
the
Mark
brain guy,
traveling to universes. So yeah, that's setting up an arc. And then as well as the stuff with the Viltrumites, that's setting up an arc. There's a lot of stuff coming up. It's hard because it's like one of those things. Like I saw someone posting, they're like, "Am I the only one that wants to see Amber and Mark get together?" And I'm like,
isn't he going to outlive her by like 20 centuries or some shit?
No.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, don't you saw the thing? She's immortal.
Oh, is she immortal?
You saw that? Yeah, that first episode.
No.
It can't kill Eve.
No. Yeah, because she has like she has like Miss Dr. Manhattan powers, doesn't she? She has.
Yeah, but the problem is they put limiters on her. But when she's about to die, those limiters go off. And so, like, I saw someone talking about Dragon Ball, and they were like, Frieza could solo that whole universe. And I'm like, well, if she tries to kill Eve, she could turn her into like a Pop-Tart, or whatever.
Like, a delicious Pop-Tart.
Yeah, like she can make anything. Like
she has Franklin Richards powers essentially.
Yeah, and then we also saw Omnipotus. He's kind of like I was bummed that we didn't get more Omnipotus. Omnipotus, we see him. He's fighting the Guardians when like Mark was away, and then that was actually kind of a bigger deal, sort of. So Omnipotus is basically Galactus.
Okay,
and he's omnipotent. But the thing is, he wasn't at full power, so he traveled to this new universe. So he was at his weakest, but even at his weakest, he was soloing everybody.
Right.
But once he eats all the energy in the universe, he becomes max power. He becomes omnipotent. So it was cool. There's a lot of cool stuff. A lot of shocking moments. Like when you think Shrinking Ray and everything, and Rex getting his head blown off. And, yeah, it was great. Shut Up and Take My Money. It sounds like for you.
Shut Up and Take My Money.
These are my two favorite shows at the moment.
Yeah.
Kind of all forever. Anyway, real fast. Yeah, just Beetlejuice trailer. I thought it looked dope.
Yeah.
The juice is loose next week, but because we're running low on time. But Krabopolis, Holy shit! If I had another gem, check that show
Okay,
out.
so I'm familiar with it. Haven't watched it. Crapopolis, the animated show, right?
Yeah,
Okay. I'll check it out.
because there's so many of these like adult animated shows,
Mhm.
and most of them I don't know. I give them a shot, and I'm like, eh.
Mm.
And this one is a Dan Harmon, and I was like, oh, Dan Harmon.
Right.
And then and then I was like, and then it's got like the cast of the IT crowd, like a couple of them. Some good, Susan Sarandon does a voice in one episode.
She does Rick and Morty too, so I'm glad that she's found her niche.
But it's funny as hell. But the thing is, the jokes are fast. You know what I mean? If you look away, you've missed like 10 jokes.
Okay.
And so, but it's really funny, and it just gets better. It's not Rick and Morty, but it starts like it gets better as it goes on, because you find out like they explain the creation of things, like dogs, like humans hated wolves, and they're like fuck wolves, and then they try to infiltrate the wolves. But it's really funny too. One girl and a wolf, they become friends, and then she like makes fish, and the wolf eats the fish. So they try to have a species meeting. And like the guy can understand wolf. He's like, look, no, humanity needs to walk away from this, because they want you to like go outside, pick up their poops, do this, feed them all the food, and do all this. And like he's describing it, and they're like, oh yeah, that sounds like a pretty bad deal. And they're like, oh my god, did you see the next generation of them? Their puppies keep getting cuter. And they're like, give them whatever they want. And then it's really great. But so check it out. Penguin trailer. I don't know. It didn't hit for me.
All right.
Did it hit for you?
I actually didn't see the Penguin trailer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It dropped. I saw it. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying the trailer didn't get me hyped.
Here, let's do Battle Nerds. Let's do Battle Nerds.
Okay.
Jumping back.
So Battle Nerds is our weekly show. We pit two characters together. We started with a list of 100 iconic characters. We put them against each other in a battle. It's random, so we never know who we get. So we can have mismatched battles like Godzilla versus Lassie. Eventually, we'll have one champion. Last week, we had Thanos versus Battlecat. Cap representing Battlecat. I represented Thanos. To no real surprise, Thanos kills Battlecat. Yeah. I still maintain that he locks him up and then lets him go crazy, and then like that becomes a weapon when he wants it.
Yeah.
That seems like what Thanos
that's a Thanos thing to do. So today we answer the age-long question of who emerges victorious between a death battle between Superman and Lion-O.
Battle Nerd. I don't want to do death battle because that's a different.
Fine, Battle Nerds.
Anyway, so we've got Superman versus Lion-O. I'm doing Superman. You got Lion-O.
Got Lion-O.
One rule is we can pick whatever version we want. Which version of Lion-O are you going?
I'm going with 80s cheese Lion-O, our Lion-O, the true Lion-O. I'm sure there's more powerful versions of Lion-O, but goddamn it, I'm going with the Lion-O.
I don't know of them, so okay. So I feel like a dick for doing this, but I mean Superman's already broken already.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure I kill Lion-O. So and the problem is a lot of Supermen won't.
Right.
So I'm going Superboy Prime.
Oh, you motherfucker.
All right. So let me throw out why Superboy Prime beats Lion-O.
Okay.
Just to get the party started.
Okay.
Superboy Prime shows up and he's like, oh, hey, Lion-O, blah, blah, blah. I'm really enjoying this yellow sun. And then Lion-O's like, I don't know, this is dodgy. And then he's like, Thundercats, oh, and then you hear the magic, hear the roar, Thundercats are loose. Yeah. So they all show up and they all start fighting him. And then he's like, whoa, don't do this. And then, boom, oh, shit. He just blew a guy's head off. And then he's like, no, I didn't mean to. And then another person, he rips them in half. And then he, just like the comet, he's like, no, you're ruining me. And that's when he breaks. And it's over. It's over, now. And I'm going to grab you, take you into space, take you through three suns.
So let's pause right there.
I'm gonna break that gem and kill all of the fucking Thundercats.
Okay, so wow, so you had it mostly right. So this guy shows up, and sure, other Thundercats are gonna come and probably throw themselves at him, but no, Lionel.
Oh, wait. One thing. I'm gonna fucking kill Snarf so fucking hard.
It's gonna be a smear upon, like, just smeared over like 3 continents. So here's this is a stretch, but fuck it. You set up the premise. So okay, so you have this battle where all these Thundercats are throwing themselves at fucking Superboy Prime, and Superboy Prime realizes, oh my god, I'm killing people. What's going on? At that moment, Lion-O, who's seeing this happening, says, "Sword of Omens, give me sight beyond sight!" And now he has clairvoyance, and he can see the flaws of his enemy. He now knows how to take out his enemy. So through 80s cheese, by the Sword of Omens, while Superboy Prime is having his trigger moment, Lion-O's way ahead of it because he now has the fucking clairvoyance. He now knows how to take out fucking Superboy Prime. On top of that, he's got fucking cat powers, and cats are dicks. So you have the Sword of Omens that can slice through just about anything. Fuck it. It's
It's not that good.
Shut up. So so what?
But I did just get an idea, which if I don't even say because I've just obliterated my own character. I should have picked a more powerful version. But go ahead. No, you were brilliant at the beginning, but keep going. I want to see what else you got.
No. I'm having fun with it. So.
Okay.
Anyway, so the premise is use the Sword of Omens to use sight beyond sight to discover a weakness in Superboy Prime. Whatever that is, whether it be Kryptonian or just something that I'm not familiar too much with Superboy Prime.
It's Superman from the Silver Age.
Okay.
Superboy.
Right.
Remember, he was the one that lost his mind because he accidentally killed all of the fucking
So this is before Crisis, right? This is what led into Infinite.
Was it before or after? I don't know. The whole point was you had a Superman from the Silver Age. So okay, it was one of the crises. Okay, again, this is me thumbing through the files,
right?
But they didn't they left. The older continuities left and
right.
sealed themselves in something. And they're hanging out there, and they thought it should have been better after they left.
Mm-hmm.
But they're but you know how Thing comics got a lot darker, and so they're like, this isn't better. And then so they leave their little stasis, old school Superman and Silver Age Superboy, and they come down, and then Superboy accidentally kills all of the Titans, and loses it, and then no one can stop him because he's got Silver Age Superman powers.
Right. Anyways, so yeah, Sword of Omens, give me clairvoyant powers to figure out a way to defeat Superboy Prime. You use your cat powers and your 80s comfort blanket of 80s plot layer to come up with a fun Monster of the Week villain to take out Superboy Prime.
Yeah, no, okay, I'm going to help you out. You had half of it. Give me sight beyond sight.
Right.
I'm going to give it to you. I don't know if it can just show you a weakness. It usually shows you some other distant thing.
Right.
It's not clairvoyance, but you see it and you go, it's like you want to check out your buddy across the street. You can see what he's doing. But I'll pretend to give you clairvoyance because that's creative. But then it does have one power. Bring me kryptonite. It can
that's right. That's right.
It's a little stretch, but I suppose that would.
I'm fighting Superman. Maybe. Fuck off.
Superboy Prime. Yeah. Okay. So that's how Cap thinks that Lion-O's going to win. I think Superboy Prime's going to win. Just clap. Or just like I said, as soon as he tries to use that, I don't think he would know to do it, but if he was smart enough, goodbye.
Sword of Omens.
What is the Eye of Thundara?
Right.
And thus the entire Thundercat race.
Right.
So we'll put up a poll on Twitter, and you guys can vote as to who you thought won, or you can just leave a comment. We'll add it all up and we'll put up the results next week.
Mm-hmm.
So you can roll a d20 this week, and we'll roll for see what we get next week.
I rolled an 8.
All right. You got. I don't think I've even had her, and she's my favorite. You got Power Girl. So another Kryptonians fighting next week.
Okay.
And I got. Oh, this is DC versus DC. I got Zatanna.
Oh!
The Power Girl takes on Zatanna next week.
So Zatanna takes on Power Girl next week in Battle Nerds.
Zatanna, obviously.
Oh, there's already one. There's one vote for Zatanna right there. But
okay, I haven't heard the debate, but you know.
anyways, that'll be fun. Yeah. It's good to put up two sort of similarly matched titans of the same universe. You know, shut up.
Yeah, I mean, Zatanna's broken powerful. I didn't know how powerful she was until I had to go up against Squirrel Girl.
Right.
And then I really hardcore researched Zatanna. When I realized she could just reach through reality and crush the... I was just like, oh, yeah. Anyway.
we have... Oh, no, go ahead.
I'll have to research Power Girl this week, but... all right, so Zatanna versus Power Girl next week. Let's jump in.
Who got who? I got Power Girl.
You got Power Girl.
All right.
That's what I mean. I keep not getting her.
Yeah. Let's get to pitches. Let's pitch something.
Pitches. Okay, you didn't want to do Behold Nerds?
Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot about Behold Nerds. Yeah. Yeah. So this is our weekly segment where we pick something for us to watch. We encourage everybody at home to join us in watching whatever it is we all picked. It was Frosty's pick, and he chose A Knight's Tale. I had never seen this movie before.
You've never seen it?
You know what? So if I'd seen it, it'd been in pieces, but after watching it, nothing really stood out. So I'll just say, for the sake of it, I had never seen this movie before. So I love this movie. I love the cast. I loved everything about it. I could see why you specifically could watch this movie a million times and love it.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I had such a good time watching it even now, and I've seen it 100 times. Look, okay, there is not one thing in this movie that is just it doesn't have the Avengers action. It doesn't have the crazy rich drama of Oppenheimer.
No.
But for some reason, it's just so good, and it's greater than the sum of its own parts. You know what I mean?
Right.
You put it all together, and it's just this magic movie.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love it.
Yeah. So we followed the story of William, who the movie opens his knight. He's a squire. His knight died in a jousting tournament, so he dons the armor and
guy's shitting himself.
Yeah. So he dons the armor and steps up to be, the Knight's Tale. God, the cast in this movie is phenomenal. Heath Ledger, Alan Tudyk, freaking Paul Bettany. Get to see his wonderfully clapped cheeks. It's funny. He spends a third of this role naked, which is hilarious.
One of my favorite. Oh God, I know. There's so much in this movie. I could honestly spend the entire episode talking about it. But well, okay. One thing I want to ask: what did you think of the whole music thing? Them using
modern music,
David Bowie and and some of the things it's called The Lands. Hello, they're using modern.
So
phrasing.
you know what it reminded me of, and I was okay with it, was Shrek, because Shrek does the same thing, where here's this fairy tale-esque type of
but
story.
It's way different.
Right, but it was still in the same vein. At first, so at first it's okay, well, they're playing We Will Rock You, but then you see the audience doing the... And then it's okay, it reminded me of Shrek. I'm sorry. It's this medieval setting but it didn't bother. I'm not saying it bothered me. It's just okay, it's that kind of movie. But it didn't ever take away. It didn't take me out of feeling it was...
The reason they did that, the
Mm-hmm.
reason they did the music, and when they did the dance scene with the golden years and David Bowie starts.
Yeah.
It starts and we see them doing the old style,
and then it modernized, right.
And then it slowly David Bowie starts coming in, and they start moving faster. The reason they chose that approach and playing We Will Rock You is because like the dance scene is the perfect thing. So you see what it looked like,
Right.
a facsimile. So that's their kind of world that they're showing.
Right.
And like, okay, this is what dancing looked like back then. And then it switches to David Bowie. And then the reason they're doing that is to those characters, that's what it feels like.
Okay.
So we're seeing the world with our so that we can appreciate. So like because you go to sporting events, we will, and the way they're yelling, they're like, get her in the cradle, or even the way they were singing in the bar. And like I've been in pubs in England, that's exactly what it sounds like.
Right.
And the reason they're doing all of that
is to capture
is because that's because we understand it.
Okay.
And so we wouldn't understand what it would be for them, but that's what it felt like for them.
Okay.
And so I think that was a really
smart. It never took me out of the movie. It was just like, okay, like I love this movie. I love this movie.
I thought it was really clever. One of my favorite scenes I got to talk about though is, do you remember the scene? It was I think it was when the sword fight. And he what's his name, Chaucer shows up, and he says like, behold my lord Ulrich, the rock, the hard place, and all that. And then like there's that pause and nobody says anything,
right?
And then the one that one actor, he goes, yeah, and then everyone goes, yeah. That was an error. That wasn't supposed to happen.
Really?
So yeah, the people, the extras, I forget where they're from. They went to some country. None of them speak English.
Oh,
they said they all kind of look like that. They just hired some townspeople and they already showed up like basically looking exactly like they needed them to.
Okay.
And like and they all show up, but they didn't speak English, so it was lost in translation. So they didn't know to yell. And then the actor kind of got them to do it by yelling, yeah, and then they all go, yeah. And then they're about to set up to do it again. And then the director's just like, that was so much better. It's such a good movie. Like,
so
how cool was it?
I love the stunts in this movie because these guys get clocked with these lances, and some of the stunts when they're like, their bodies are grinding on the rails and then just falling. It just, you don't really.
Yeah. So the armor. Sorry, no.
No. Go ahead.
Watch the director's commentary and everything. The armor is plastic when they're taking the fall.
Okay.
It's only metal when they're on the horse.
Right.
And then the other thing is they had to train the horses for a long time. Because think about it, there's a guy with a stick pointed at you.
Right.
And he's riding right at you. So they had to like do it really slow, and then the horses got used to it.
Right.
But the other thing is the lances, the middle part, it's balsa wood. So you barely touch it,
splinters.
Flies off. And they put it full a bunch of little splinters in there to make it all like explode. But yeah, it was yeah, God. I have so much love for this movie. It is one of my all-time favorite movies. Seen it so many times. I could talk about the scenes that were cut. I mean, like one of the scenes that was cut, you meet Chaucer's wife. Actually, Chaucer, I think I got to talk about Chaucer. So, because see, back in none of this adds up technically, in terms of time periods with Chaucer existing, and then like the armor they're wearing. But it's a loose canon, you know what I mean?
Right.
But the idea behind it is the Michael Jordan of jousting was a guy named, because they did this. They went around and had jousting tournaments. The guy that was the best, his name was Sir William. And so the idea, and then remember Chaucer, he's like, I should write this down.
Right.
So Chaucer wrote about Sir William.
Right.
So that's where this fits into the story. The other thing is we see Simon. Have you read any Chaucer's work?
No, not that it's not my head that I
can. Yeah. So, well, you know who Chaucer is. I mean, he's Shakespeare famous. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, Simon the Summoner is a very famous character in Chaucer, and then we meet Simon the Summoner in the movie, and he's like, "I will eviscerate you in fiction." And then in Chaucer's book, he like writes that guy
shit
like
about that guy.
The biggest shit ever.
I will talk about your pimples.
Yeah, but it's true. That's what happened, you know. Like, Oh, it's so good. And even like the romance, it was nice, and like you get to see because like that's what they did. They used their servants to flirt,
Yeah.
and it was all about winning love, and it was
Mhm.
God, I love this movie. It's so good. I love the villain, Count Adamar.
Mhm.
I liked how it's a sports movie,
It
and
is a
it's
sport,
like,
so it is a sport movie. It's a medieval
oh,
sport movie, and it's fucking great.
yeah,
It's fucking
it's
great.
so good.
Um, Favorite character, it's between Alan Tudyk and Paul Bettany. I can't imagine what the two of them just alone on set were like. There's just, I love it.
Mine's Chaucer by far.
Okay.
Yeah, just like because it was, but I mean, I don't even know if I like. I love the part. I just love the scenes with Chaucer the most. I think, like he's like, oh, you read my book? I take it, Book of the Duchess. But it was allegorical, and he was like, well, we won't hold that against you. That's for every man to make up for himself. And I just like, he looks at him like, what? Like, it's just, it's funny right where it needs to be, and like just it's got that quick dialogue, and like Ulrich, he gets, or Sir William, he gets mad at Jocelyn, and she's like, what will you wear to the dance tonight? He's like, nothing. And then she's like, well, I'll cause a stir and dress to match. And then he's like, oh, you're just a silly girl. All you care about is clothes. And he's like, she's talking about taking him off, sir. It's so funny.
It's so good. Every character is memorable. Every character is great. I liked God, the prince. Who was it that comes in at the end?
So actually that was interesting. Originally another cut scene, and this one totally makes sense to me. Chaucer was supposed to give a speech, and that was going to calm the crowd, and then the prince came in and knighted him. But like this one, it kind of made
it works better with the
It works better without Chaucer because not
it depowers the prince, right?
Yeah.
Like Chaucer had his moments, not the prince, because that's the payoff right there. Is
exactly. But I mean, you try stuff and then you watch it. Yeah. Like all of their cuts made sense to me. Even the one that like there's a scene because you see them wearing the phoenix, and like they're and people are painting their face with the phoenix. Like that's actually supposed to be in the movie. They removed it because it messed with the pacing.
Okay.
There's a scene where they're all sitting around trying to decide what their emblem is going to be, and they decide on a phoenix. And one of them, what's his name, the Wash guy,
Alan Tudyk.
Alan Tudyk. Yeah, he's like he keeps talking about how it's got to be holding a lance, because I guess everybody does like an animal, but it's always holding a lance,
right?
And so they're like, no, everybody does that. It's a good scene, and the reason they picked the phoenix because rising from the ashes.
Yeah. So you know what? This is almost a 2.5 hour movie, so I can see why they would cut some things out. It didn't feel long.
I didn't know it was 2.5 hours.
But it's one of those where if they threw more stuff in the pot, it would have started to feel long. Like, It felt contained. Like
they nailed it. Yeah. It would have been a cool scene, but at the same time, it makes sense not to include it. Also, there was supposed to be a scene. I've seen it where you meet Chaucer's wife. He's walking around naked, and they're like, oh, what happened again? And then he's like, no, I'm my wife. And then like she wanted an apple, and they don't believe him. And then you meet his wife. It's a nice scene, but it doesn't add anything to the film.
Right. It's just kind of there. Anyways, it is 8,000% shut up to take my money. It is 8,000,000%
take my money from me as well. So what's your pick for next week?
You know what? Honest to God, I haven't really thought of anything. So we're just going to go to one of those. Let's continue the theme. Actually, so it was going to be,
Memento. Or we could actually, what we could do is because we watched the wrong one.
Right.
We could watch, and we talked about watching the right one to see if it's not bad. Supposedly it's good.
Right.
We could watch The Good Taxi, the French film.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. Let's watch The Good Taxi movie, the French film.
Okay.
Because otherwise, I was thinking, what's a good Heath Ledger movie? Like.
Yeah, I was just thinking we said we were going to do that like ages ago. We never did.
Yeah. So yeah, let's do it. Let's choose
Okay.
the correct taxi, not the.
All right, so we're going to be watching Taxi next week. To clarify, everyone, that is not the one with Queen Latifah and the
And
late night host. What's his
uh,
name?
God, Phil. Ah.
It's not Kimmel. It's the other
No,
one.
it's Fallon. Fallon. Ugh,
Yeah,
Jimmy
Jimmy
Fallon.
Fallon.
I hate Jimmy
Yeah, so
Fallon.
not that one. We're watching the original. Anyway, so yeah, we can do pitches.
Yeah, let's do some pitches. If we don't have time for both, we can. No, you know what? Listen, we can knock them out.
We got 20
Um,
minutes, dude. We're good.
yeah, 20 minutes. So we have the pitchers. We do like to pitch things. I'll let Frosty go first. So we are pitching original universe stuff again this time.
So the rule was it was superhero,
Superhero,
original
yes.
superhero
Yes.
universe, or character universe, whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were also saying we were gonna, because we already pitched our personal universes, so we're gonna try and do something different.
Yeah.
So this is another character I created as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And his name is Mystic Knight.
Okay.
He is. I wrote down when I created them. I was like writing down like their ethnicities, and but he's Sumerian. He's male. Okay. So here's my idea for a movie on this. Okay, I've got a lot of stuff to set up. And I was thinking, well, I'll just do it like, in the beginning kind of thing.
Right.
And I was like, oh, but that's always crap. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then I was like, well, what if I just do a what do you call it? Like a Game of Thrones style. Because remember when Game of Thrones started, there was already a lot of history. But we didn't know it.
Right.
And then we just kind of have to figure it out and work it out as the show goes on.
Right.
But just for the ease of this discussion, I'll tell you the history. So, back in a forgotten era of man, basically, I'm pulling from the Hyborian age. That's why it's Sumerian. A mortal worm named Thuranok. He has like a bunch of servants and stuff, so they all go out. And like kind of his own cult, because he's basically a god tier dragon, the immortal worm. So he sends out his cults, and they in the night, and they collect all these craftsmen. And not all of them are famous, several of them are, but these are Earth's at the time's finest craftsmen in that part of the world.
Okay.
So he brings them all in. One of them is a blacksmith, for example. One of them a carpenter. One of them's what is it? A seamster. I don't know whatever that is.
Seamstress.
Yeah, it was a dude, but but anyway, does that Taylor? I guess
Taylor.
But yeah, so a bunch of them. There's a Fletcher, guy that makes bows and shit. Anyway, so he tells this group of people, "You're going to work for me." They don't really have a choice. And he says, "You're going to craft 3 weapons," and he gives them the specifications. And only one of them's kind of a weapon, and even that one doesn't really make sense. But they create them, and then he gives them exact details. So these are like made by the finest craftsmen. First one is a simple glove. It's just a red glove. I mean, it's beautifully inlaid and gorgeous, like perfect craftsmanship. But I mean, it is just a glove. It's the nicest glove you've ever seen, but a glove. And then there's a bow and arrow. But what makes it weird is the arrow is like notched permanently into the bow, permanently drawn, and so it's useless. You can't fire anything.
Okay.
And then the last thing is a staff, a metal staff, very heavy. On one end, it's got like a hammer, and on the other end of the it's got like a almost like a spear.
Okay.
Anyway, so then the dragon kind of pulls a Galactus and infuses his own power into these weapons. And so anyway, the craftsmen are all talking. They're like, "Dude, we've created this horrible thing. We can't let him keep it. It's too powerful. We got to take it away from him. So they come up with a plan. Basically, the blacksmith leads it. They all fight their way through the cult. They steal the weapons. Blacksmith's the only one that makes it out. He returns home, and he's got 3 kids. He tells them kind of what happened. He's like, "You need to run, and you never saw me, blah blah blah." He's like, so he goes off. He gets killed by the cultists. His kids are now lost to the world. Each one has a weapon. So that's the setup.
Nice.
Basically, the what the weapons do is the bow and arrow. When you grab it, it absorbs into you. You now are the bow and arrow.
Interesting.
So like you can, like one thing you can do is you can travel super fast because you just jump and you arrow yourself forward.
That's
the
cool.
other thing is you can summon an arrow, bow and arrow, and you can like think of like you're the ultimate archer,
Right.
and like just a ton of arrows. Remember that Samurai Jack episode?
Yeah.
You're like that.
right.
And then the glove. Think of it like a Green Lantern, maybe not as diverse as a Green Lantern, but you can put an energy shield around you, a bubble, whatever. You can fire bolts. You can also like make yourself like kind of like a kaiju outer armor version of yourself.
Cool.
And you can also fly when you're in it, so you're kind of a Green Lantern without the constructs.
Yeah.
But you can sort of expand yourself.
That's awesome.
And it's also a shield, so you're basically invincible. Then the staff. And then the staff is, you pick it up super heavy, but once you've been holding it for a while, you kind of attune to it, and you become like metal yourself.
That's awesome.
The staff has a hammer on one end, charge up, boom, Thor hammer style. Nice. Other side, basically a grapple gun.
That's awesome.
And so that's like you're not the fastest of the group, but
but you can grapple away. Yeah. That's awesome.
And you can Spider-Man around, and then you put your foot on the other end, and that's how you swing.
Yeah.
So those are the 3 things. So, but that all happens before the movie even starts.
Of course.
So we're in modern day. Basically, what happens is, but if you combine all 3 of them, you become basically a god.
Nice.
And so that was why they all decided to go their separate ways.
Okay.
They were worried that one of them was going to try and steal them all, but the bow guy was lost. Bow is lost to time. No one knows. Through the centuries, what happened to that guy? I don't know. Right. They're all immortal, essentially. But because of the weapons.
Right.
Glove guy, he builds an empire. So basically, he runs all these businesses in modern day time. The staff guy, he lives in Scotland. He's got like a modest house, and he's got a forge. And now he does like custom swords and hammers and shit for people.
Nice.
Online, like
right.
He makes a little bit of money doing that. He lives very modestly.
Right.
And that's kind of how he survived the centuries, Anyway, so I'm gonna have to cut this short, but where the kickoff for the movie is the the bow becomes found.
Okay.
Some archaeologist finds it. There's it gets put into like a museum. Like fucking guy in Scotland, he's like, kissing his wife, and he loves her. He's lost wives throughout the centuries, but he's with this one now, and he's happy. And then he sees like, oh, blah 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 on TV, one of those convenient little TV thing.
Right.
Hey, we'll modernize it. He gets an email. I don't know.
Right.
But then
I like that he sees it on TV.
Yeah. Oh shit. That's out there now. What happened to our brother? I don't know, but this thing's in a fucking museum. What if my brother goes for it?
Right.
And then if he goes for it, he's going to have both of them is coming for me.
Right.
Well, if I go for it, he'll think I'm doing the same thing.
Right.
There you go. That's the conflict. It becomes this thing because after the centuries, the fear is, what if one of them tries to obtain this godhood? And now with the third brother dead, the weapon's up for grabs. Anyone could grab it, and then they'll have both, and then they could go and kill the other brother and get the third one.
Nice. Shut up and take my
Yeah.
money. This is cool. This would be this would make a cool series. I'd rather see this as a series to like flesh it out than
I do
just
think it would
one
work
movie.
well as a series because you could start in the high board or you could jump between the two.
Right.
Something like that.
So yeah, definitely. I wouldn't go movie with this, and it's sort of the same thing with Quantum, where there's all this lore and all this backstory, and then poof, game start.
That's why I thought like people figure it out.
Yeah, yeah. No, I like it. Shut up. What would you call
like
it?
Star Wars kind of works like that, right? There was all this shit that happened.
Right. What would you name it? What's the name of this?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, my character's name, like a superhero name, is Mystic Knight.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I guess maybe that. I don't know. I'll have to think of a name. His character is Mystic Knight.
You should come up with a name for each of the artifacts, and then call the movie the name of the artifacts.
Okay. Yeah, I never named the artifacts.
The Horcrux. Like if you're using Harry Potter.
I never thought about that. Like naming them. It was just always the glove, the staff, and the bow.
Yeah. So so it'd be like the Deathly Hallows in Harry Potter, where you have the Elder Wand.
Oh, what if I keep it that, but I give a name for them as a group?
Yeah. Something along those lines. Yeah. I like shut up and take my money. It's awesome. I if I were to choose which one I would pick, I'd pick the glove.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of why the glove. Okay, spoiler for something that doesn't exist. I mean, I guess I hinted at it, but the one brother with the glove, he's kind of the evil brother. But I don't want to I want it to look like, oh shit, because it would be a threat either way. Because good brother goes to make sure evil brother doesn't get it.
Right.
But also, it's that he becomes evil brother. You know what I mean?
Right. No, that's a cool thing to toy with. I like it.
Yeah.
Anyways,
but and then other guy. But that's why I made him the bad guy, because he's in a lot of ways his is the most powerful. But that's the other thing. They can all kind of cancel each other out. So Staff Guy is actually a good fighter against him.
Okay.
Because he can charge up and break through his shields.
Okay.
But see, Glove Guy murders Arrow Guy.
It's like paper, rock, scissors.
Arrow Guy can't fire through his shields.
Right.
But Arrow Guy murders fucking Staff Guy, because Staff Guy ain't got shields, so just you know what I mean? So it's a rock paper scissors kind of thing.
No, I dig it. Shut up and take my money. Anyways, I should jump into mine. So again, I'll lay down the premise. I discussed this. I'm going to base this off of how I played with my toys as a kid. So this is going to be my fictional toy universe. So think Toy Story, but again, each character is their character, but each character retained their powers from their shows, but because of something, it didn't affect the room or whatnot. But if you had JT Marsh and his E-frame and he's firing his missiles, those missiles are doing real world damage, like the things. This is one of those things where that's the explanation. Don't think further. So it's kind of like Half-Life meets Mega Man, kind of, sort of, where you start off. I explained this before. My Legos were coveted. I didn't like altering them in any way, shape, or form because they were just coveted. I could not perfect upon them. I couldn't improve upon them because they're just the perfect things. But my Kinects I didn't give two shits about. So the Kinects became like the...
Oh, you mean you were one of the ones that you build what you buy?
Yeah.
Oh no, I was the opposite. I'm gonna make an awesome race car.
So in my head, I could never build anything cooler than what the manual was before me. It was just my weird insecurities.
No, I know. There's two people.
Right.
There's you and there's the me's.
Right. No, but see, here's the thing. If I were to have like a plop of Legos, sure, I'll build fucking whatever. I'm happy as a clam. But the Kinects, I didn't give a fuck about. So the Kinects became like the mobs. Like by default, like I can build just armies of robots and not give a fuck. So the whole universe is you have, I mean, you can frame it as like a Toy Story type thing, or you can just changed the skin of it. But you have essentially a Futurama type business where you have a delivery company, and you have the two proprietors. You had Slippy, and you had Mike. Mike was a little Lego mechanic guy, and he had actually it was Slumpy. I'm sorry, Slumpy. Slumpy was, I forgot the name of him, but this little squishy kind of rubbery monster dude, like tentacle. I forget the name of the toy, and it was like this little alien dude and a Lego guy, and they were a delivery service called Draco Express, but then they came up with this craft so they can better transport things. And they also had this little droid bot that was sort of like their R2-D2 named Squeaker. Now,
sounds very you.
So, in their efforts to bring speedier service to the denizens of the room, they created this teleportation technology that can grant them instantaneous travel to anywhere within the house. Tragically, doing so opened up a fissure between realities, which released the bots into the room. And out of nowhere, there was peace among the Autobots and the Decepticons until the robot army came through and just started annihilating all the peaceful civilizations within the room. This forced the Draco Express company to come up with, so we got to do something. We caused this. Let's take this technology that we came up with to our Planet Express ship and turn this into like the savior of the room. Hence, Bob was born, and Bob, the robot ship, and Squeaker rushed to sort of bring back peace, restore peace among the room by defeating the robot. Now, the robots were led by Megabot, whose right-hand man was Double Barrel, who was sort of like the Starscream, but not like the Betrayer, but not Starscream. Starscream was an idiot, more cunning. And then you had Buffer, who's like the big buff, fucking like the strong one. And there's just the assortment of all of them. And of them, you had one that defected. It didn't have a name. It was just known as 249. That was his designation, number 249. And for some reason, during some fight, it broke free of whatever.
Why am I feeling like, I know it's not because you invented this a long time ago, but all I can think of is what's his name from Star Wars?
Who?
The guy that the is it Poe the stormtrooper and the newer one?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like didn't one of them like, oh, your number blah blah blah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, he was 249, and he defected, or it defected, and
I did have that right.
Yeah, so it defected, and it became it would lead the charge, and then eventually, this God, this is like living back what I used to play with my toys, which was awesome. And then when Turbo Man showed up, so essentially the story would follow 249, and like, just because he didn't retain his memories. It was sort of like Short Circuit, kind of, sort of, where he just had that Johnny Five moment where he sort of developed like true sentience, and then became the strongest ally against the robot front, because it was from this robot dimension, but he didn't retain any of his memories, so he was trying to figure out what it was as it came marching through the portal after this engagement. But it's sort of like the Mega Man character, because as they unlock the mysteries of this dimension, they go through various upgrades and become more and more powerful. And
that sounds good. I like that.
Yeah, so
it kind of feels like anime almost to me.
It is. It is. So I showed you pictures, and I wish if you were to give me 2 seconds, I can run downstairs and grab like the primordial version and show you the upgraded version. In fact, I will. Here, we're gonna hold really quick. Here, I'm not gonna go to any hold screen. Just talk. I'm gonna go grab them really quick. Hold on. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna be right back.
Okay. Let's look at. Oh, actually, I probably got rants I can do while he's gone. Yeah, this is a bummer. If anybody follows us, we talk to at Real Super Killers a lot on Twitter. He is talking about no longer doing his book. Please don't let that happen. Support his book. Check him out on Twitter at Real Super Killers. His book is great. It's a book about villains, and I don't want him to stop because he just finished his world building, and now it's going to be like a slugfest. And I can't wait. So don't let him quit.
Don't let him quit. I will never quit.
I was telling you, don't know about this, but Gus is feeling burned out by not having enough followers. So he
Yo,
announced the
no,
other day that
homie,
he
no, no,
doesn't want
no.
to do his book anymore.
That's it. No, Gus.
I know. So that's what I was telling anybody watching it. Go check it out. Support him. Give him some love. Don't let this man give up.
No, you keep swinging, bro. Honestly, from as a creator, I hope to one day be like where you're at. Like you have followers, you have a thing to show. Like I want to be that someday. Don't give up on me, bro. I'm winded. Anyways, here is because adult brain kicked in. It's like I want to play with my Kinects again. So here is proto form.
We do have this shit.
Yeah. So here's his proto form. These are like my little Kinect mobs. He's got his little eyeballs here. He's got his little blaster gun. Had a like a grenade gun and like a grapple hook type thing, so they can sort of attack a Titan kind of thing. Eventually, he got an extra arm and a jetpack and shields and everything. Adult me bought Kinects and decided to let's give 249 like a big upgrade, and I did. See, I love adult brain. Adult brain could build cooler shit than like younger me. So here's newer him.
No, but young me had like more.
There's so he's got.
Way cool.
There's his guns here, and he's actually like opposable now because these parts didn't quite exist when I was younger. So you can the background sort of masking it. So here you go. Here's like the proto form, and then like the final form, if you will. So it would be that. It's marketable because then you can market Exo Squad toys. You can have like a collaboration with the Ninja Turtles, and it was cool because
this is your Toy Story essentially.
Right. It's my right. It's my Toy Story, and God, the one day when I built this giant fucking like I called it the Battlestar Galactica because I wasn't creative, but. I built this giant spaceship for all the goobers, for all these goobers, and oh my god, the room was at the brink of total destruction, Frosty, and all of a sudden, when 249 is down, Bob is down, Squeaker's nowhere to be seen, the portal's out of control, and through the echoes of war came a voice, and that voice said, "It's turbo time." And out comes fucking Turbo Man, and he fucking deploys a little fucking his jetpack thing, and he just fucking uppercuts this thing right down the fucking center, and it just fucking shatters, and there's parts everywhere.
Back when I played with my toys, I was always guilty of doing this, and I was like, this happens too much, where I would have the main good guy go into battle, get totally overwhelmed, and that's when the guy on the hill would be like, "Yeah," and then he comes and backs up his friend, and then they join you back to back, and like it would always happen, and it was just like, I need to come up with other storylines.
Right,
here.
but then, but your main character's down. All of a sudden, it's JT Martian, the Exo Fleet. Exo Fleet's here. Oh my god! Like
Mine were all unique. I didn't use like even if I had a toy like RoboCop, he became something entirely different. But yeah, I do agree with you, adult brain though, like because like my toy that was I created this universe off of, he had an M on his chest. That was the only real. Other than that, I kind of built him myself.
Right.
And so I didn't know what to name him. I just called him Master. And then I've always hated that name.
Right.
And then I was like, what's an M name? I'm like, Mystic Knight, done. Done. I'm like, why was I that stupid when I was young? And yet at the same time, all the stuff that when I was young is what I pull from for creativity.
Right.
It's just, I can take it and I can improve on it, which I think is what you're saying.
So that's what I'm doing with Quantum. I'll show the scribbles next week. Well, I'll hold up. All right. Well, here's this planet now, and then here it is now back. Or like a then and now type thing. But, no. So, my God. Turbo Man fucking uppercut the shit out of this fucking thing, and it just exploded everywhere.
Dude, I'd watch it. It's a show I would take my money.
Then,
I mean, yeah, like
I told you there's
watching a bunch of like insert name brand like characters taking on the Borg sounds awesome, you know?
Right.
Like shove it in my money. That's all you have to say. You know,
But then what's cool is that Megabot gets taken out, so Double took over for the longest time. Actually, Double ran the operation for a really long time, and then he disappeared somewhere because their consciousness gets like ported elsewhere back to their home dimension. But then the buff guy was in charge for a while, and it was sort of like Mega Man, where each one had their own like power set and whatnot. And then for a while, the bots disappeared, and IG-88 took over. Yo, what's up with this dude? My IG-88 like gathered it was almost like the Reploid virus from Mega Man, where it would infect robots. It was kind of like that, but like kind of Borgish also. But my IG-88 got infected with it, and it became the bad guy, and it was weird. And then these guys became metal for a brief period, and that's when things got a little weird. We don't count those seasons.
No. I had the same thing in my show because I lost the staff, and so then I was like, oh, he needs a new power set, and so I was like, I've got this other toy saber set. Yeah, that works. Now I'm Ford guy, but it kind of ruined the canon for me for a while. But then I found the staff, and I was like, oh, thank God. And then also the setting changed a lot. Sometimes it was future technology in the Hyborian age.
Okay.
So like a guy with glove would ride on a throne on this like super awesome tank, and then like he could put his own charge into the tank, and then the cannon would become supercharged. And boom.
So here he is. There's my goober. So this is adult brain. So. And then what's great is you can just battle damage. Oh no, he lost his arm. Oh, he lost a leg. And then I wouldn't give a shit. God, I would build mobs of these fucking things and just annihilate them. I'd spend hours. Like, when they talk about in like movies with like special effects guys, like the artists will spend weeks building this meticulous thing just to explode. Like,
you know what you should do if you still have all that shit, and chances are you have the perfect house for this.
I know. You
need to get into stop motion, my brother. Because like your Cap has like all the toys, and so you could totally do your own Toy Story, where you take all the toys and you just sit there and stop motion it, and then that's what you should do.
Yeah,
that's totally up your alley too.
That would be
put out a YouTube video like that. That would be dope as hell.
Yeah, just
12 frames per second. Just do the X-Men thing.
Right.
I mean, so you just got to do 12 things every second. So what? How many is like if you made like a 2-minute cartoon, maybe? Well, what is that? That's 120 times 12. Someone math that for me.
Right.
I guess it would be 1,200.
You know what we need to do, Frosty? We talked about this. When you start traveling again, you're gonna come to my house and you're gonna stay here for a while, and I'm gonna dump out all the Kinects and all the Legos because and later this is gonna be the new season that you're gonna help me do. They made attachments so you can connect Legos to the Kinects. Oh my, my brain aneurysmed again. So we need to take all the Kinects and build a giant thing, and we can have just a giant fucking, and it'll be glorious. I built a guy just for you.
We should probably end it, man.
This is fun.
So do all the likes and subscribes. Check us out on Twitter. Like I said, check out Gus at Real Super Killers on Twitter. Support his book. Tell him don't go. We need it.
Yeah,
I need to know what happened. Damn it.
Bro,
but yeah.
So the moment you stop, it stops. That's it. But if you keep going, it's going to keep going. Like that's really all.
Yeah, I mean, I get where he's coming from though. It's brutal. It's so hard, and it's like this. We've been doing this show for a while. Like a good week for us is like 50 views. Like your average week is like 20.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like, oh man. But sometimes we hit, like today was a good episode.
Yeah, I mean, we also don't have a producer and like people that can work on the back end to really, it's whatever.
Well, I know, but I put a lot of effort into each show. So yeah. Anyway, so like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and check us out. We'll be back next week, 10:30 a.m. Please, Kat. Anything to add? And also watch Taxi again, old one, and then next week, who is it again? It's Battle Nerds.
Zatanna versus Power Girl.
Power Girl.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, and then also check out the poll on Twitter.
Yes. Yeah, we like to end the show with a nerdy quote. Mr. Frosty, set us away.
Cat's gonna totally meow through this, but my lords, my ladies,
meow,
and everybody else not sitting here on a cushion. Today, you find yourself equal. Yay! Murmur, 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 murmur. For you are all equally blessed. For I have the pride, the privilege, nay, the pleasure of introducing to you a knight sired by knights. A knight who can trace his lineage back beyond Charlemagne. I first met him at the top of a mountain near Jerusalem. Praying to God, asking his forgiveness for the Saracens' blood spilt by his sword. Next, he amazed me still further in Italy when he saved a fatherless beauty from the would-be ravishings of her dreadful Turkish uncle. Oh my! In Greece, he spent a year in silence just to better understand the sound of a whisper. And so, without further gilding the lily and with no more ado, I give you the seeker of serenity, the protector of Italian virginity, the enforcer of our Lord God, the one, the only, Sir Ulrich von Liechtenstein.